Use the Force, Luke.
Sometimes truth isn't good enough.
I feel the need for speed.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes!
Because it's their time. Their time. Up there. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here.
All right. Wardens rise. Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern means it's time for FrostCast. It's episode 80. Let's bring King Z in and get into the scheduled programming bit. Come on, dude. Let's go. There it is. Oh, wait. Hold up. Do the thing. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now everybody's in the right spot. I can run the show now. All right, that all makes sense. There we go. What up, King? Warden Prime.
He's back.
Warden Prime is feeling better. He is back. Glad to hear it, dude. Glad to hear it. The crud was going around, dude. It is still going around. Believe that. We are not out of the clear up here. That's a fact. But yeah, dude, lots to talk about this week, dude. I feel like entertainment media in general is just like all over the place on the map. You got Netflix and Warner Brothers stuff. Obviously that involves Paramount. We got this Disney stuff. We got Lucasfilms going through a leadership change. Dude, stuff is up in the air, man. Is 2026 like boiling up to be something crazy? Or is this just all going to be more of the same? I don't know, man. But it feels like there's stuff popping off like everywhere we go for the stuff we watch.
I think it's going to be a lot of the new boss is a lot like the old boss.
Mm-hmm. You'll know my headline.
But I don't understand out of all those topics is why Congress is getting involved in the Netflix Warner Brothers, because
monopoly probably stuff like antitrust concerns.
But wouldn't they be more concerned if Paramount got it, where they would have like they would be bigger than what Netflix would be?
Oh, I don't know if Netflix got a hold of Warner Brothers. I think that market share would be pretty savage. I don't know. I'm not a business guy. I'm not a legal guy, but I was watching clips of that congressional hearing and they were roasting Sarandos from Netflix for like, it felt like days. Like I started feeling bad for the guy, and then I was like, nah, you're the enemy. You're scum. You can be roasted by Holly and Cruz in particular, like fed him his lunch. Like it was pretty savage at different points. You know, Holly in particular was laying into a bunch of the so we noticed that out of like 400 shows that are on your young viewer section, 46 of them contain explicitly gender identity laden programming. 46%. It was like, I don't think that seems like a rational representation of certain demographics of people. How do you explain this? And dude didn't have a word, had a canned response. It was kind of funny. And then Cruz definitely got him on market share concerns and labor concerns. It was interesting watching him pick his brain for that. If you didn't see any of that hearing, I tell you to go back and watch it. I know you're like a government kind of guy, like you're interested in those kind of proceedings and staying on top of how the law works for that kind of stuff. It was interesting.
Yeah, that's what caught my eye. I didn't know that there were going to be congressional hearings, and I think they were going on yesterday and today over this merger buyout.
Attempted.
Yeah. I don't really think the government has a leg to stand on to step in front of it, but it's nice to people just asking questions to understand how it would impact the market. But I'll go back and give it a look. I'm pretty sure there'll be reels in my feed tomorrow on it. So
I'm sure. I mean, the only leg I think the feds would have to stand on is if it just doesn't pass muster for like antitrust stuff. And I think that if the numbers hold out that the Netflix CEO was kind of putting out there, their market share would be like half of what typically meets criteria for like antitrust considerations. Like they'd only have somehow like 18 to 21% of like the streaming market. I'm like, really? That's all you would have if you're Netflix and you acquire Warner Brothers? Really?
Well, but Warner Brothers, all they have for streaming, I believe, is HBO Max.
I mean, but how many millions of customers is that? And how many millions of customers is that of the total streaming customer pool?
And you know the thing is, it's hard to go with this because so many people have cut the cable, that a lot of people have HBO Max, have Disney Plus, have Amazon Prime, have Netflix. So if they're being counted in all of their numbers. So you can't really say it's an antitrust thing because everybody's getting everybody else's. I mean, not to include, you have Peacock in there, you have MGM Plus. That's because of us, by the way. I just want to put that out.
Put them on the map. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome, everybody.
And then you have Tubi that's free, and then which also has a paid subscription you can use if you don't want ads or something.
For sure, dude. If I know any one thing about government, is if they can get involved in a private business deal, they will get involved in a private business deal. They will find a way to inch in. But the interesting clip that I took away from it, or the interesting thing that I saw in there, is I think it was Cruz that tried to back Sarandos into a corner of saying, you know, are you committed right now to increasing domestic production? And he basically strong-armed him into a strong yes, into like a solid affirmative. And I'm like, that can't be considered binding, right? Like that's
no, yes, it is. It's under oath,
right? It's so it's perjury. But
if he doesn't do it,
right? But I'm saying, what if like real life business circumstances within in the industry actually change and you can't afford to increase domestic production? Like that's wild to me. That's like a binding situation. I actually did not like that.
If you have $83 billion to buy a company, you have the money.
Do you? Because it's how people always bust Elon's balls all the time. Like, yeah, dude's worth $8 trillion, but how much of that is liquid? You know, my dude's just not slinging trillions around on like a discretionary income.
It's worth, but they have
not
to
a financial channel.
But that revenue has to come from somewhere where they're making that $83 billion purchase. They're not just giving them stock; they're giving them that amount into their bank account. So it has to come from somewhere, and that means they're generating income. And all they have to do is split their stock and sell it off, and then they have that.
I'm sure the money guys could make that work. And Pape says, as long as it's true today, it's not perjury. That's kind of what I think I was fumbling around for like a nice, concise explanation like that. Like, if you could have made a good faith statement and said, oh no, we're trying to ramp up production because we're at like a pandemic level low of what we're actually putting out. We'd like not to do that. We'd actually like to be making new stuff. We'd actually like to be having new IPs be made, or, you know, remakes and all the other crap that they do. Like, we want more of that stuff. We're trying to attract new subscribers. We are trying to get into, like you were just saying a minute ago about Tubi being ad-free. Like, I feel like all the subscriptions that we have right now, like, they're going to be like ad force-fed no matter if we like it or not within the next 2 years, even if you're paying what are, you know, ad-free rates right now. Those are going away, my friend. They will be trying to wring dollars out of you.
Yeah, and all of them are switching to ads. I mean,
right.
I believe Amazon Prime has the lowest ad-free, which is like $2.99 to be ad-free on Amazon Prime. But all the rest
of them,
I
have
it's
ads.
like,
I don't know.
It's like a $10 jump almost for a lot of these streaming services. And now that you have companies like the NFL and MLB and NBA, and like
ads.
You have to go to like 7 different streaming services if you want to watch your team. Because I mean, was it YouTube TV now owns the NFL Sunday Ticket, but some games are on Netflix, where some Thursday night games are on Amazon Prime. Now you have the ESPN super subscription with like $30 a month, and they're going to be carrying the NBA games on that only. It will not be on broadcast stuff.
Hey, what's up, Isaac? 50% of the time when I want to watch a movie on Amazon Prime Video, it's a rent buy. Dude, true. I mean, there's that. We're bagging a bunch of our content is still just the series. Like, we just did Fallout. Fallout just wrapped up today. No way around that for me. Like, I can't. I'm not paying individual rates to download that show per episode. Like, I'm stuck on the subscrition. Whatever Prime Video's regular annual thing is. Which side note, dude? If they can't guarantee me 2-day delivery on most shit anymore, why do I have that? It's not like I watch a whole lot of Amazon Prime movies or shows.
Yeah,
I don't think I need that anymore.
There should be. I know that we have, like, they had the guaranteed 2-day delivery, and it didn't make it, and they let us keep the items and refunded us all the money.
Oh, all right. Well, maybe I will keep it then, because I think that price for that annual shit's like $200 now. Like, it's up there.
I think it's like $223.
That's what I'm saying. It's not $99.99 anymore, man. It's like $200. That's crazy. Yeah.
And like all the streaming services now, when you have all the ones you want to watch shows, it's like more expensive than cable. And now people are talking about, well, they should have like one app where you can get all the streaming services. Like, dude, you're describing cable.
Yep. Dude, not only are you describing cable, You're describing the worst kind of cable, because you're going to combine all of this crap in one place that's going to have the one thing I hate about streaming the most is that entries that I'm trying to sort through to find something to watch appear in multiple categories of shit. So if they combined all these things, it's not like you would lose the Peacock name and the Paramount name. You just go to like one app that has all 6 of these things and then still have whatever they brought to the table mixed in with other shit. Like, no, I don't need that.
Yeah,
I'm over that.
Not including you spend more time
Insane.
looking for what to watch than you actually spend watching stuff.
Oh, dude, I hate that. Dude, the paralysis by analysis of trying to find something on streaming is awful, dude. At least with cable, you had 4 channels that you knew what the crap you wanted to watch was on, and you would go to that channel and throw the remote on the couch and then go do other shit
until your show came on.
Until your show came on, then you sit down and watch. You can't do that with streaming. It literally sometimes I'll sit there for 10, 15 minutes. That's god awful. It's a horrible way to spend downtime when you're roasted. You just watch the same tiles flip by over and over.
Yeah, and that's why you go back and watch shows like The Office over again.
Yes.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine over again. Or you go back and watch Psych again. It's just like because it's easy, you know it, and just throw it on.
I'm due for a Psych rewatch.
Oh,
I just saw
great show. Great show.
And again, thank you. Thank you for putting me on the Psych, dude. Good show.
It took like 3 years to get you on it.
It did. You know, like,
I got you there.
Kind of stupid. But do you remember how you talked me into it? You said, dude, it's kind of like Scrubs. And I was like, light bulb. I'm like, oh, all right, I can watch that. It's that kind of funny. I could do that. Easy show to watch. I just found that Supernatural dipped onto somebody else too. I need to go back and rewatch that again. It's finally off Netflix after like 30 years. It's on somebody else now. True. But to put a finer point on the change in leadership, I don't know if you wanted to do, can we do that one first and just kind of get that talk out of the way and then talk about Markiplier?
Sure.
So 2 weeks ago, or last week, or whenever it was, Kathleen Kennedy dipped from Lucasfilms and installed a couple of buttholes over there. We don't expect a whole lot of change. That's how that goes. And then within like 5 days, Iger decides, I think I'm done.
Iger announced a year ago that this year would be his last year.
Did he?
Yep.
Or then maybe it's just then it coincidentally.
It just kind of went hand in hand with the two.
Okay.
Yeah. Because he announced his retirement for March or December of this year. He announced that last year.
But the new guy, Josh D'Amaro, is taking over March 18.
Yeah, he's taking over primary everyday duties where Iger will still be sitting on the board and be a special advisor. Pretty much, he's going to be on that call, like he's going to be on the beach. Yeah, what you got? Yeah. Usually I did this. Oh, the password 1 2 3 4 5 6.
Yeah, 1 2 3 4. That's the same combination. It's on my luggage. There we go.
There you go. Got it.
Kind of thing. But they're doing the same thing Lucasfilm is doing, and they're still keeping Dana Walden around as the president and chief creative officer. And that's the part I hate the most, right? I feel like that there's some Filoniism. That's a new word we're going to use here on the Den. Filoniism. With keeping her around. Like this is the same executive that was there when Iger left in 2020 and who torpedoed Bob Chapek after like 18 months. You know, bug in Bob Iger's ear brought him back. Oh, I can't go completely the pandemic and we need to right the ship and this and that. And I wonder if keeping this lady around and giving her a fat pay increase to be the head of creative programming after presiding over the worst 5-year period in recent company history is anything other than her basically being installed as Iger's spy so they can railroad this new dude who's been with the company since like 95. I went back
99 and he's
90 something.
Yeah, and he's mostly been in charge of the parks.
He's the that's what I mean. He's the business side, just like Chapek was the business side.
Which makes sense why he would take over the CEO role. Not only does he have to know, he has to know the business side and how to get these parks to get people coming back because the park attendance has even dropped. So
it's dipped hardcore.
And that's their big money maker. Like the parks bring them almost more money than their shows do.
Parks and cruises, they make more money. That's a fact. You can take that to the bank. Pape says Disney is doomed. We can only lose so much money. Dude, exactly. And I think that motivated the selection of D'Amaro is that they wanted a business guy there. But I wonder if it's as they said on Breaking Bad, is it a half measure? Because if you're still moving Dana Walden around, even though technically on the org chart she's reporting to him like he's the boss.
Yes.
But Chapek was the boss, and she still had enough wherewithal or juice to give him the old end around and still plant bugs where they needed to be plugged that ended up getting him yanked after he made a couple of unpopular decisions. And I wonder if that's in store for this guy who's a dollar and cents guy. He's a business guy. He's probably looking around like, successful streaming services like Max and being like, wait a minute, how did they make The Penguin for like $6 and win all kinds of awards and have, 30 million viewers on opening day? How are they making House of the Dragon and Night of the Seven Kingdoms and a bunch of other premium shows that HBO makes? How are they doing this for half of what we're doing? How are they doing this and not spending $800 million on Andor? And dude, you and I both love that show, both seasons, unabashedly, unironically. But there's no way, dude. I went back and I thought about it when I heard that number earlier. I'm like, where'd the $800 million go on that show?
All the sets. It was extremely practical,
dude. But practical, isn't that typically cheaper than shooting volume on CG and having to render all that? Isn't CG expensive? And for as much of their Coruscant shit that they did
for time, yes, but for like actual shooting and taking time on set to build all of that for them to walk through instead of just walking through a empty studio lot with green everywhere.
I thought the computer time just was that much more cost prohibitive, and that's always the complaint with going.
It's more time constraints because, like, when you go into an artist, it's not one artist is doing one scene.
Oh yeah, it's banks of people, warehouses of people, workstation. I know.
Yeah, you have like 100 people that are doing like one character, and like one of them is responsible for the eyebrow movement.
But that's why I figured that was really expensive and driving up them costs. And then when I'm thinking about Andor, I'm thinking of it is very much a grounded story. It is a bunch of dark hallways. It's not a bunch of space battles. It's not a superhero movie with a lot of like, we need to digitally do up King Z's arms for lightning punches. Like, it's not that.
Or lightsaber battles. There's no.
Or that's what I mean. Or lightsaber battles. There's not a lot of droids. Battle droids kind of came at the end of both seasons. I think battle droids showed up in one context or the other.
It was the middle. It was about the middle that you saw them in season 1, where he gets arrested and goes to prison.
Right. And then in season 2 for the massacre segment.
The massacre, and then at the end, are you on our side? No.
It's K2SO, yeah. But again, that's tied to the story somewhere. But anyways, it gets sidetracked by Andor. Their stuff is expensive. We know the Acolyte cost them a butt ton of money, and ironically, cost them huge. That netted them no new views.
No new views, no new subscribers to see that. That's the big thing with the shows is to pull in people for the subscriptions.
Right.
Because a lot of these streaming services do that. They'll have like that one big hit, and then they hope after you subscribe to see that, because everyone's talking about it, it becomes a gym membership. You forget that you subscribe to it.
So I think it's worked worse than that in Disney's favor. I think they've done such irreparable brand damage by having back-to-back mediocre to poor efforts like the Acolyte, like Ahsoka, that people are now waiting. People have been doing this for a long time. This isn't a new phenomenon. People are waiting to hear the word of mouth about the first episode to hear if something's going to be a giant train wreck. I'm thinking of what did we just watch that? This Starfleet Academy, which I haven't even watched. I watched the first 2. I'm out. Like I just can't. I heard this week, ironically, on episode 5, they're going to explore the mystery of Captain Sisko. And I'm like, please, could you just leave it alone? Like, don't ruin more shit. But anyway.
What's the mystery of Sisko other than he made it through the ranks?
No, the mystery is that these idiots don't know anything about Deep Space Nine and know that we know where he ended up at the end of the show as the Prophet in the wormhole, being the emissary and the Prophet. We all know that. These morons don't know that. So they think they have to have an episode where one of their brain-dead, window-licking characters explores the mystery of the Sisko because they think it's clever to tie it back to real shit. No, it's not. But the point there is that they were able to boast that they had 1 million watch minutes for the first 2 episodes over the first week. So fan response is high for Starfleet Academy. And then, like, from firsthand from the Acolyte in particular, episode 3 does what? Whoop! Gone. No one comes back. You show up for the train wreck, and then you move on with your day.
Yeah, you have that show. And then you have so many people like us that watch it to review it, to
Right.
put out the information, because we're here and you're your shields. We have to put out our honest opinion on what we think of shows. We're not bots, for all you comment people saying
No
we're
bots.
bots. We use
No bots.
AI to make up our own mind, which no, we're old people, so we make up our own
Kingsley's
minds.
old. I'm not old.
I'm old.
Kingsley's old.
I'm gonna yell at you for walking on my
68.
grass.
I'll yell at the sky. I'll yell at some clouds.
That's right. I'll yell at birds for walking on my grass.
Stupid birds. They're not really birds. They're
I know.
drones.
They're drones.
What?
All the birds died years ago.
Birds went out with dinosaurs and they lied.
That's
But
right.
yeah, these guys here, with the change of leadership, it's more of the same. It's people that were already there in different capacities that are still going to be there. They presided over crap aimed at kids that parents have now soundly rejected. Soundly. So now, even if they bring to Toy Story 5 could be the baddest ass movie they've ever made, I don't know that it's going to hit for them after Lightyear. Dude, I'm old. Shut up. I'm old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not. I think they're in that weird spot now where they have to like good faith like 10 things in a row before people will, I don't know, like even begin to forget.
But the problem is
Some
they
of them
keep going
missed it.
back to the same wells. Eventually, you run out of like it's was it the law of diminishing returns?
Diminishing returns. Yep.
And that's what it is. They're going to the well one too many times.
So, yeah, I feel like it doesn't matter if this guy shows up, the new CEO, the new whatever the ranks are, I don't care.
Yeah, CEO. He's CEO, Chief Executive Officer.
Right. Diamaro shows up, makes some shrewd business decisions, caps some budgets, does more modest things, 150 to 200 million instead of 250 to 400. You know, if he can do anything in terms of clamping down on how anybody that works for the company speaks on social media to people that are critical of their efforts, I feel like he probably only has like a year and a half of that in him before, in a roundabout way, Dana Walden or other, entrenched bodies on the creative side, me to him, give him the John Lasseter treatment, find a way to make that not work, because they're still not willing, despite having been resoundingly defeated at the hands of parents, going back to the whole the Florida issues that got Chapek in the hot water. Like, we're out on that kind of stuff. Parents are hip to your bullshit. We've all seen the videos where the Imagine a Better Tomorrow VP of creative crap on that side. I was like, no, we're going to make stuff aimed at kids to socially engineer, how people are thinking. Like, we all know that. It's not conspiracy theory talk. You said the quiet part out loud and got bagged, and people no one's in a rush to run back to that, Pape says, how about they just make content for the majority instead of the 10%? Dude, 10? 5. If it's 5.
I think they need to go back to the days of that little disclaimer that they used to put at the beginning of movies. Comments and quotes from the actors are not
representative.
Not representative of the morals and the thoughts of the company. They speak on their own behalf and don't represent us. They need to go back to that.
I think they need to go a step stronger than that. I really do. This applies across. This goes from movies to streaming, and it dips into video games too. Like, when you've got, if you and I finance a small film and put up $100,000 of our own money, we'll say whatever we want. That's fine. That's our money. You can't have some jackass fake celebrity, fake influencer working on a movie that's got $500 million in budget tied up in it, jump on Twitter and say to 3 million people, if you don't like my politics, don't see this movie. That has a tangible cost that's now on the record. Like, it's undeniable that they've left money on the table. Undeniable. Their stock price reflects this. Right?
Or calling people who don't like your stuff, or they don't like it because they're racist or they're fascist.
You can't allow that knee-jerk reaction anymore. People are over that. Customers are done with that. The only thing I want to hear from somebody whose project I negatively criticize, and that's because in our unique way of being critical, which is to never attack the actor, never attack their children ever completely off limits, right? If I say, I don't know, I think so-and-so in X project didn't really hit for me, thought he was kind of flat, story was kind of dumb. That's it. That's not an indictment of anybody personally. So their response to the criticism should never be personal. It should be that dude's criticism was unorganized, unintelligible, and and stupid.
Yeah.
Like you criticize the criticism. You don't come back and try to dox my address, dox me, or find my kid's school. That's stupid. That's dangerous. They talk about danger and violence all the time. Stop instigating it. All I said was the Acolyte sucked. That's it. That's all I did.
Yeah. And like we even like in certain shows that were bad, but we're like, this person's doing all they can with what they're given.
We've said that. We said that about the Acolyte. The
stranger,
guy from Squid Game. No, I was going with the Jedi, the guy from Squid Game. I'm like, the dude learned enough English to play this character in an English speaking show, and the rest of you jackwads are doing all this nonsense around him, including your lead, who is playing a dual role exactly the same. Like boring, uninspired, not interesting, But like, yeah, dude, the two guys, they did what they could, Like we've said that about plenty of shows. I think we said that about Secret Invasion. We said that about Ben Mendelsohn. We're like, hey, he's doing what he can.
Yeah, he tried.
He's not really doing anything interesting.
Bad guy. It just, I think the writing for everything else was really
terrible.
Bad.
It was terrible.
It's like they forgot how to write Nick Fury.
Oh, they go because the year that show came out, they had to write Cuck Fury. Oh, damn it! I should have said that first. Fuck. It was right there. But no, but that's always our style of criticism. You know what I mean? Like when we dunked on that one crap episode of Mando season 3, there were a bunch to be clear, but in particular, the one with Jack Black and Lizzo, we didn't take shots at her appearance. We said, dude, this episode's stupid. She was probably the least offensive, stupid thing in it.
It was the role she was given. That princess
role. I'm saying she just played a princess. That's it. But she didn't do anything directly stupid with with a dumb script, a stupid premise, a waste of Christopher Lloyd. Jack Black was super weird, but nobody dunked on her appearance and that. Nobody said that black people shouldn't be princesses in a Star Wars. No. The episode was just dumb. But loads of people wanted to tell me, on Twitter and in the comments, it's just because X. And I'm like, that's a you problem, dude.
It's not.
That's a you problem.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
The things entertainment has gotten to.
Yeah, but I think that this polarization has infiltrated every aspect of everything, and I need it to go away for a little while so I can watch stuff like Percy Jackson that does have a diverse cast and be able to give it a thumbs up, or watch something like The Penguin that has a diverse cast and give it a thumbs up, or I don't know, watch something like Robin Hood, which had one guy was diverse on the cast, and I gave that a big thumbs up. Like you can be good or you can be bad, and it has nothing literally to do with any boxes anybody checked casting wise.
Yeah.
But it is funny that these tenets are starting to be rejected. Like even I saw a thing the other day that said the BBC has been advised to avoid checkboxing diversity into scripts where it's not called for. Like people are over the whole Black Prince Charles thing, Black Queen Elizabeth, Black Anne Boleyn. No, people are done with that.
It's like having a white guy play Martin Luther King.
Right, dude. Stupid, offensive. Like, don't do that. It's dumb. Like somebody had cited a study. I think it was a longitudinal study, 30,000 pieces of data points that they collected. And they were like, as it turns out, people across the board of every demographic group don't like this practice of doing that kind of forced inclusionary casting into things. Like we want diverse stories, but there's a back part of our brain that knows how the world really works, and that not every location in a given setting is going to look like downtown New York or is going to look like Los Angeles.
Especially if you're doing history pieces or history accurate pieces.
Particularly historical pieces. Particularly. Pape says, it is used just to put you on your heels if you let it right. Trying to claim the moral authority because the argument is weak or non-existent. Of course. That's why if you stand up to it for about 10 seconds, they break. They break like the sea on a stone wall. Like it's over if you just don't let it bother you. And it just doesn't bother me. Like people can say stupid shit in our comments or on any comments section elsewhere online. I honestly just don't give a shit. Like I'm over that. you don't have any criticism other than I don't like it because I'm this. Okay, that's it. That's all you got. Fuck them. That's all I got.
Just like we don't like people who say, "Oh, I don't like it because it has a certain race in the lead role, or it has an interracial." That's wrong too. You shouldn't be doing that as well. I want to make sure we reiterate that as well.
Oh yeah, I think that's kind of that's under my umbrella point that like I'm here to criticize crap media when I know it's being intentionally manipulated in a way to drive a message that isn't story first. And that's the difference between what people typically call woke and just having people that aren't white in things. Like notoriously, we'll just switch to gaming for a second. Did you hear about High Guard the other day? That game that the shooter that got released? It's a hero shooter by the Apex guys. So this game High Guard gets announced at the last segment of Jeff Keighley's award show at the end of December.
Mm-hmm.
It got the last segment. The studio got that last reveal segment for free. It's a 30-second spot where the ad time for those kind of 30-second spots was like $500,000. He gave it out one for free to show off. Said, hey, it's by the makers of Apex Legends and Titanfall and this and that. Check out High Guard. It was underwhelming. Game's about a C-. It's kind of dull. It's nothing you haven't seen different parts of kind of combined into one kind of hero shooter kind of game, right? Game peaked at like 100,000 concurrent players on Steam on launch, owing largely to that highlighted spot that he gave them at the award show.
Okay.
Less than 24 hours later, it's down to like 8,000 concurrent players. Like it just fell off a bridge. The people clearly not interested in this game. It's kind of dull. It's uninspired. It's 3v3 on giant maps, which made it not for fun engagements. There's a lot of time running, a lot of time in phases, resource gathering that didn't have a direct impact on combat 2 minutes later. It was just mid-game at best. But people were criticizing it as being woke. And I'm like, it's got a black character, but there's no bios, there's no world building, there's no lore, there's no ability that says like death to Whitey or anything. I don't get the woke accusation here. It's like we used to talk about. Like people's radars need to be retuned. Like people are just seeing woke ghosts in anything. And that's just as concerning as there actually being woke bullshit coming ahead of story, in my opinion.
And that's the other problem, that people are seeing woke anytime there is, I would say, diversity. But there's a difference between being woke and being progressive.
Right.
If you just move forward and you don't, I hate the line, I don't see color, but if you just move forward where race isn't an issue, that's being progressive.
Right.
If you make it where it's all about this person's race, then you're being woke. Because woke is just in my eyes, just another way of being racist, to tell you the truth. Because race is the only thing that matters. The person's identity is the only thing that matters about them. Yeah. Like a lot of characters now are so one-dimensional. Like either they're the gay character, or they're the black character, or they're the homeless, and that's all they are. They have no other diversity to them. So is it really diverse, or is it just you trying to check a box? Where if it's progressive and you just have a bunch of people thrown in there and like, all right, this is your character, this is who you are, you're a school teacher, you came up and you played basketball, you got your scholarship, and then you realize I need to give back to the kids like I was giving back to because I had a really good teacher, and that's why you're a teacher. All right, and that's
all backstory, right?
And it doesn't matter who I'm talking about.
Right. You can literally cast anybody into the description you just gave. I just want to dovetail off your comparison of progressive and woke. That's something these jackwads online mix up all the time, especially when they try. Again, I got to tie it back to Starfleet Academy. They try to throw that back in like a legacy fan's face when they say Trek was always woke, and I'm like, no. Trek was always progressive. Nobody gave a shit about that except for the most staunchest of probably right-wing people that legit did not want to see a black character on screen ever. Legit did not want to see a woman in a command role ever. And they're way over here, dude. The vast majority
almost all the way back around to
dude, seriously. like all the way around, right?
Yeah.
The vast majority of Trek fans, incidentally, that look like guys like us going back 7 decades now, right?
Yeah.
The vast majority of us showed up for the story first because they're interesting vignettes and stories that got told weekly, and stayed because the characters were well written and well acted. And that could have been Scotty, that could have been Spock, that could have been Kirk, Uhura, any of them, all the way through TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise. And if you take snapshots of those casts, they're all diverse organically. Yeah. Nobody on any of those 5 shows was hired because they checked a fucking box.
No, they're hired because of their acting ability and how to portray the role that they were in.
Right. I'm guessing, right, that outside of like a casting call that might have said, like for like a character like Deanna Troi, they probably did want some eye candy. You know what I mean? Like they probably put out a casting that said, you know, a female actor for ship's counselor, 25 to 30, dark hair, but you know what I mean? They probably had some intention there, but literally every other character on that show, you don't need to specify anything other than what that character does for Starfleet. Like you didn't need to specify, like, except for somebody like Wesley, you probably had to specify need teenager for role as student, you know what I mean?
And also like
everybody
based on whoever the mother is as well, like who they cast as Beverly, you'd want the child would have to look somewhat,
of course. Yeah, dude, when normal people were writing TV in like the 80s, 90s, and early aughts, but now in an era where like literally you can be whatever you think in your own head you are, that probably doesn't apply anymore. But yeah, no, we always had progressive, and the story always came first. I would say woke is the perversion of progressive thought in sci-fi to put identity ahead of story. That's how I've come to define that. Yeah. So when I go back, when I see a game like High Guard and it's just got rando, and I guess maybe I could see the black character in High Guard. You remember the Black Jedi Knight from the Acolyte, like her best friend that got killed?
Yeah.
Had the modern side shaved haircut with like the floppy top.
Mm-hmm.
This dude in this game has that haircut, but there's not another written fucking word about him in the game anywhere. Like that's it. There is no backstory.
Yeah, that's not woke.
No, not even close, dude. There's nothing about it in this game. But every now and again, every 15th comment, the game, like I said, is mid to bad. But every 15th comment is like woke AI slop, and I'm like, I don't even think it's AI slop, or it's just the middest vanilla thing ever. Yeah, but it's definitely not. That's definitely not the capital W. It ain't the woke. Retune the radars, boys and girls. Retune them. Yeah, I just wanted to tie that into High Guard real quick.
All right, so didn't you go see a movie this weekend about a game?
Dude, I was going to go see it today, and I ran out of time getting stuff ready for the Pinewood Derby for next week when we get back from the Winterwolf mini vacation. So we were going to check out Iron Lung. I had actually I picked it up on Steam. I didn't even get to play it. I'm a little disappointed. But that is the Markiplier movie that's all abuzz right now, all over Hollywood. Now, dude, I didn't even know what a Markiplier was, except hearing my kid mention him a couple of times. I guess he's got like a small YouTube channel. He's kind of a small content creator.
He's actually, based on what the Oracle was telling me earlier, he's actually goes all the way back to the Vine days.
Yeah, I know. I was being facetious. He's a 40 million sub kind of guy. Like, yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I should have probably maybe set up a different joke there.
Yeah. Yep.
So my dude apparently
had looked this all up because I didn't know what it was when you put it on the topic list. So
yeah, that's why I tried to get it to you as early as I could. So I know he's been around for a while. He's like a I've never watched minute one of his videos, but I know that's how much King knows about him. Balls.
What I read,
he's one of those Vine on the line. Yep. Damn. So, anyways, this dude purchased the rights to this game, and this game it's fairly interesting. It's got some weird backstory where it's almost it's a Star Trek kind of conundrum thing. It's like all life in the universe dies out at once in everywhere except this one moon.
Yeah, they call it the Quiet Rapture.
The Quiet Rapture, right? And you play your main character as a prisoner who's been sent to explore said blood-covered moon and uncover the mystery, blah blah blah, whatever it is. So I don't know if Markiplier played this game in 2022 and fell in love with it. Only cost me $4. but bought the rights and then financed, wrote, produced, and starred in a movie. More power to you, you're a rich guy. I mean, that's what you do when you got $3 million and you're a rich guy. You get into passion projects and you do that. But through his own like grassroots effort, I guess it's weird saying grassroots when you channel it's got 40 million people, 40 million subs. Basically had to like fight and claw to get this movie any kind of big screen attention at all. Like he basically had to muscle places and make deals, and God only knows what kind of percentages he was giving up to get it in there. But this movie did well enough opening weekend to barely trail Send Help, which is your typical Hollywood thriller with the one we're going to see, Rachel McAdams and weird boss guy whose name I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. So it's a different type of role for Rachel McAdams.
Yeah. That's why I still want to go see it.
The female Paul Rudd.
Things about it. Yeah, dude, she still looks good. That's the thing. She's still very, very attractive.
She does not age, just like Paul Rudd doesn't.
Vampire, total vampire. We have conclusive proof that they walk amongst us. But anyway, so it had a budget of like $3 million or something like that. He cleared like 18 million, and it's probably a good look at how media to some degree is going to look over the next 5 to 10 years, where there's going to be fans of niche create niche, but I mean, not studios. I mean, niche creators like Mr. Beast, like Markiplier, like probably at some point, if he gets any bigger, like the Critical Drinker. I think he's already done a short film based on one of his novels or one of his short novels. It's going to be guys like us in fandoms that are going to support the creators we like and not necessarily the studios that we used to like back when, like Disney, like Paramount, like New Line, like Canon, like Dimension.
Which all of those are pretty going to be under one of 3 umbrellas here soon.
Right. That's what I mean. So we're going to find these individuals that have a likable personality. There's somebody that already has similar tastes and things that you have, especially if they're on the review or reaction side of thing. You'll know what they're into. It'll probably be a kind of a focal point of the crap you were consuming from them anyway. And they're going to crowdfund and they're going to self-invest in these things. The problem is, I wonder, and the thumbnail was a little clickbaity because at one point over the weekend, the earnings for his movie disappeared off all the top 10 lists. Like after the Friday poll, he even on his own social media was saying like, hey, wait a minute. We were just here yesterday. Where are we now? Like, why are we not being ranked? I guess there's clerical stuff that happens when you're a smaller movie. But my dude made like almost $20 million. Like he outperformed that garbage Until Dawn movie we saw last February. Like he earned more than that did opening weekend. And nobody lost their money. So it just looked kind of sketchy, and I just wanted to play with that as like a topic because we know through the pandemic, Hollywood doesn't like YouTubers stepping on their toes.
No.
When they were all out of work, they all tried starting channels and podcasts, and most of them bombed. You know what I mean? They're not likable when they're not being force-fed lines. And the guys that are the most popular on YouTube are infinitely likable compared to celebs.
It's the power of charm.
Yeah, 100%.
I think the only one who really did well was John Krasinski with his Good News.
I could see that. But he's a likable guy anyway. And basically, if half of his persona as Jim Halpert carries over from The Office, like people will back that.
I think he is Jim. Like Jim is.
You think he is?
John.
He's yeah, but now he's kind of like not Reacher, the other one, Ryan. Like he's kind of that guy now a little bit. A little edgier, a little harder than Jim Halpert. Halpert was kind of a vag on that show in most physical situations. He didn't want none of Roy in them hands. Believe that.
No, he did not.
He did not.
But Dwight Schrute with the mace.
Charming AF. In fact, Dwight Schrute with the mace, or him elbowing Roy in the basketball game. They'd be like, "No, it's cool. It's cool. I don't want to take it easy." A whole lot of that. But I think that it's going to be things like that, and not people like Brie Larson, Rachel Zegler, who both took stabs at having channels during the pandemic, and they try to have influencer platforms because they're not likable. They literally say nothing that's endearing to anybody ever that I've ever seen, So I don't think that the studio system is at all enamored with the fact that a YouTuber can put in $3 million out of his own cash, put his money where his mouth is, do the work, and then literally put butts in seats.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mr. Beast might not make any money in a week. I don't know.
Mr. Beast already has a show on Amazon. So
I heard about that. I never watched it.
This is becoming a thing. And with how much money some of these streamers and YouTubers are making, which mostly is streaming, like Tim the Tatman, I think every month he brings in like 5 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
On average.
We actually went back to Overwatch 2 today. I got the live stream on in the corner over there. But that's what I mean. These guys have been around for a while because of the weight of their I mean, a lot on the gaming side of things, most of these guys do have some degree of talent. Like you can watch them play well, but it's the charisma is a weird word to use when you're talking with somebody that just yells.
It's entertaining
when they're losing, but it's entertaining, right?
They have to be entertaining. They have to be
right?
more than the person they're playing. I mean,
Right.
how many people are now watching Burnt Peanut?
Like, millions, dude. Millions. I think
all
he's
based on
top
his
3 on Twitch.
Yeah, based on his Arc Raider type stuff. Like a lot of people weren't watching him before Arc Raiders, but now that Arc Raiders is taken off, which that's a story. Did you see the numbers come out today on Arc Raiders?
They still have something like 400,000 concurrent players 2 months after launch.
Yeah, they have
4 months after launch. It's crazy.
Yeah, one of the best concurrent player streaks of almost an indie studio launch, but they made the game for 70 million and they're on their way to a bill.
Burnt Peanut is a game streamer on Twitch. I think he's only on Twitch. I don't think he's on YouTube. I don't know. But he's definitely on Twitch.
Yeah, game
streamer paid games.
He uses a degenerate that turns him into a peanut, and and that's how he streams.
Yeah, he's got one of the digital cyber overlay avatar things going on. It's kind of like the old school gag Conan O'Brien used to do, where he'd have the still picture of somebody on the screen and then the mouth would move.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, but it's a little bit more sophisticated, I guess. He can move. It responds to facial animations. It's kind of funny. He's entertaining too, but he's also good at the game, so you can legitimately watch him cook people while he's playing the game.
From people I know who watch him said he's not really that good. It's just he's entertaining. The people he plays with.
Oh, I thought he was good.
Are really good.
Oh, that's probably what it was, because I know I've seen him run around with other people.
It's the same thing with Tim. Like Tim's all right. He's in the top tier, but he plays with people way better than he is.
Oh yeah, but dude's also, he's on the wrong side of 35, I think, to be keeping up with these youngins. That's for sure. But this dude's also been streaming competitive Overwatch for like 10 years.
And Call of Duty. Like he started with Call of Duty way back in the day when he still was a social worker.
This is what I'm saying. So, I mean, he's made, but again, these guys and guys like Markiplier have made millions in their careers on the basis of being charismatic and entertaining to whichever level of the spectrum of rage or commentary, or just being charmingly funny when they're bad at a game or whatever it is. And Hollywood can't authentically replicate any of that.
No.
So I think there's going to come a point where they're either going to try to twist some kind of leverage on the studio system that says, hey, if you pick up King Z's independent $5 million film based on some rando Craftopia video game, we're not going to put in Scream 8, or we're not going to put in Terrifier 5, or you know what I mean? Pick movie you want to compete. You know what I mean? That they're going to try to block out like that, because I think they've already taken some action like that to close down channels that were reaction based on their content, because those people were charming and building followings. Pape says Call of Duty, I quit that a day after my 10-year-old nephew. Well, dude, I mean that might be a you thing though, Pape. That might be a skill issue, or get good, as the kids used to say.
Get good.
I mean, the King still bangs some shooters. I mean, I'm out there still banging them.
It suck, as I've been told.
It does. Maybe we start a gaming channel. We'll bring Pape in, and we'll let him tag along behind us and just carry all our stuff. It could work. We need a Sherpa.
Power level him.
It could be done, dude. We could get a Helldivers thing going. That's just fun. Yeah. Send you a game.
We need a bullet sponge.
Let's do it. Just put him and my brother out there. Where's Afakazi Gaming? We'll put them two out in the front. We'll just shoot over the top. Just come right up over them. We could do that. Yeah, I'm happy for Markiplier. I would like to go see Iron Lung. I've heard that it's very much a first effort movie. It's not going to blow you away with like the writing involved. But if it's horror, the horror rules apply.
Yeah, as Martin Swayze, or not, what's his name? I messed his name up. Martin Scorsese would say it's not cinema.
Oh, dude, it doesn't have to be cinema or high art. If it's based on a horror game. So if they can nail any of the tension that I hear is pretty okay in the game. I checked the reviews on Steam earlier, just before I came on. Dude, it most recently has 800 positive reviews and something like 8,000 very positive reviews like lifetime since it came out. So it's not It must not be a bad game. You know?
So the movie runs 125 minutes. It cost them $3 million to make it, and so far it has grossed 24.9 at the box office.
Dude, so I'm saying, with no marketing. Zilch.
No marketing.
None.
Other than just who he is and what he did on his channel talking
but I mean,
it.
that's his, but again, that's his platform. That's not him splashing ads on Netflix, splashing ads on YouTube every 5 seconds.
Making a McDonald's deal.
Right. It's none of that. So if this dude has now maybe he might not have kicked the door open, but maybe he started blazing the path through the forest a little bit.
Well,
and then
do you
other
remember?
people.
Oh, go ahead.
No. So he might have just started showing people that the path into the forest, that other people can get these kind of things off the ground if they've had that kind of, if they're approaching that level of success on YouTube. Because there are plenty of channels that are over 1 million subs on YouTube. It's not that uncommon to hit 1 million if you do certain kinds of content on YouTube. That's a thing. So somebody out there, one of these people may have a passion project in mind. It doesn't necessarily have to be a video game. It could be a short story or a book that they just happen to. Maybe there's somebody out there with a channel of 5 million people that really wants the Dresden Files to get made. Maybe he gets the rights from Jim and makes it happen.
Well, they had the Legend Studio thing going where it was all fan owned, fan votes on what they made with the money that they raised by selling their one shares. Like you only own one share, so everyone has a voice type thing. There was that tried that, but people have the opportunity to make stuff. The problem is, and what he faced was the gatekeeping at distribution.
Right.
Distribution is the hardest one. The easiest place to get your movie, and I'm not joking, is Amazon.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Tubi.
Tubi takes some bad stuff too, as I have shown you.
You've exclusively shown me.
But they also have distribution, so I can't really like.
But that's kind of my point with Markiplier enjoying undeniable success here, right? Maybe it weakens gatekeepers at the distribution level, at the theater level, and they say, "Hey, well, wait a minute, that did pretty good. This is kind of in that vein. Maybe maybe he's the first snowball, and if 2 or 3 more of these things happen in the next 3, 4, 5 years, that does. And perception changes slowly over time. Like it's not a thing.
And so theaters would be idiots not to jump on this bandwagon because they have a built-in audience,
right?
And theaters are struggling as it is with traditional distribution right now anyways, with studios living up to promises and stuff like that, and how much they make off ticket sales. If I was going to make a movie and I go to my local Regal, because we have Regal, we don't have AMC here, and I work out a deal for a Regal release, but you get to keep 40% of the ticket sales. You know how quick they would make that deal? To put my movie in all their Regal theaters compared to the 50 cents they make on ticket sales right now.
Dude, I think you're onto something too with them probably catching on, because as I go through the Fandango app to buy tickets and I look at the 2 theaters we go to up here, half of the screenings in both theaters that I go to are now Lord of the Rings re-airs, Star Wars re-airs. A couple of these places have brought back some of the older Minions movies, ahead of like another one being released now. But Iron Lung, right? I wouldn't have expected this, because I remember when I tried to go see that dinosaur in Vietnam movie last year, was it called Primal or whatever it was called? Remember that one?
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Like, couldn't find it. Wasn't released anywhere. Dude, Iron Lung legit has like 12 shows tomorrow at the theater that I would have expected to least be likely to carry it.
Can you go in and see what the seats look like? Just do a random one. You can always back out. You don't have to buy a seat to see
I know.
it.
I'm going to check the 7:25 show for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday.
Okay.
I was going to check at noontime. Ain't nobody buying a ticket at noontime.
Especially when school's in.
Yeah. Still widely, there's a bunch of seats there for sure.
Okay.
So it's got seats to fill there. But again, that's Thursday. I don't know what's going on. I could check it out to Friday, but I'm not sure it's the kind of movie where people are trying to necessarily get tickets before they get out of here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's there. And them having 9 showtimes or whatever I just counted there is proof that the theater thinks they can book people into those seats on some level. Otherwise, they'd give it to something else.
Yeah.
Send help in another screening.
And there is a thing called forewalling. for independent filmmakers, where they pretty much
Right.
rent out a theater and then they play it, and then they have to pay an upfront cost, but then they
Right.
make all the money on the
Right.
ticket sales.
Mm-hmm. So I'm down. I want to see more of this kind of stuff, even if it's not aimed at somebody like me. Like, say if there was a female creator that had whatever thing she was into that was more, female or feminine or woman centric. If she can get enough of her core group of viewers to show up to a movie and plop $15 down on a $5 million passion project, she had more power to her. I want that to happen. I want that to be successful, because I want people to have things they can consume that are out of the Hollywood system, because I feel like this is how we reverse polarization, is we just deliver smaller things to scale for people that are interested in that thing. And that way we don't have to worry about gunfights and high-speed chases in a Barbie movie, and we don't have to worry about feelings in hallways in a fucking Predator movie. Like, we can just skip all that now.
Yeah.
It
also goes against what we talked about was it like 2 episodes ago, where we talked about like the people who came up with Star Wars, the people who came up with Star Trek, they were influenced by the sci-fi shows of their time. Like Star Wars was very into westerns. It was influenced by Buck Rogers, and it was influenced by World War II. That's what made Star Wars. But now the people who grew up with Star Wars are influenced by Star Wars, but they're writing for Star Wars. So they have to fit in all the Star Wars lore into their writing, and they're not making anything new. People who were influenced by Star Wars and Star Trek, and then maybe was it John Carter? We'll just throw that one in there, because that's just a random.
I can see that. Yeah,
and they should be writing their own stuff, and this is how we could get that stuff made. The next generation of free thinkers and creators to make their own IPs, pretty much, that could be put out there, and make a new type of Star Wars. Like when Star Wars was released in 77, it was like unheard of, like of a movie of that caliber coming out, that comes from a first-time director, screenwriter that got released and then has that type of reaction to it. Right. So, I mean, it was a phenomenon. And now everyone just wants to ride the same phenomenon for, was it 5 decades now?
But that's why I think that, especially we were talking earlier about like this rise of Star Wars AI fan films that are coming out, and how they're not features, but they're getting better. They're getting more sophisticated. The tools are becoming more readily available to creators that sooner or later the prices of those kind of applications, those programs, the equipment you need is going to be generally affordable for anybody that can put together a miniature budget to make these kind of things. That might be where all of this is heading, and that this will be a way to get new IPs done, because I won't need to be gate kept by Disney to pitch them a Star Wars script, or I won't need to somehow, as a first-time director or writer, get a loan for $150 million or get secure financing for a giant movie. Like, we're not going to all be like Zack Snyder over here. That won't be a thing. But maybe a series of 8 short animated films in the style of Shrek to tell like a kid's story for families can be something we can do, on our private channel, or between friends, or with other like-minded creators. Like, maybe groups of people can create those kind of stories and get that kind of thing done. Pape says, you see that with comics now, a lot of crowd. Oh, dude, 100%. I'm a big Rippaverse supporter. I've got book 1 of every title Rippaverse has put out. 100%, because that's the answer to the problem, is supporting quality new entries. Now, you don't owe your dollars to every guy with a random idea. Kingsley today pitches us a comic about a vampire as a garbage worker in 18th century Vienna. He doesn't need your money.
It's trying to take terrible idea.
Dude, that's a great idea. We need to work on that. Strike that. Retracted. Trademark. Damn it, dude. We just came up with a concept and a title in like 10 seconds. Shit. All right, we need to get you on the AI program so we can make these things happen. But that's my point, is that not everything needs to be Rebel Moon with like $200 million
Rebel
budget
farming.
plus Rebel farm slow-mo Rebel farming.
Yeah.
Slow-mo. not everything needs to be on that. I think that the problem is the bloated budgets. That the day of those has to be over. Is all of these things need to now be modulated back down to scale. You know what I mean? And that $5 to $10 million may just have to be the ceiling for a lot of things in the test phase of a first movie or a first series or whatever, and not a gajillion dollars. You know, I think that's just where we have to be at.
Speaking of fan making stuff, like Epic released on Unreal Engine 5 for free to use. And there are really good short films made with that. And one of the big announcements this week in our final topic of the night is that the person broke. Oh, what was that? Was it GoFundMe? He broke GoFundMe in the internet within 24 hours, making like way over $1 million. I think it hit $1 million in the first 5 hours for his book idea.
Dude, it hit something like $30 million by the end of the day.
Yeah,
if I remember the number correctly. It was obscene. But continue. This is your topic. Run it.
So we're talking, of course, about Brandon Sanderson, the writer. He is the writer in fantasy right now. He puts out a book of it seems like every other hour. He wrote 15 minutes. In the time that we were in the lockdown, he wrote not one, not two, but 5 secret project books in a matter of like 3 months. Now, of course, they weren't completely edited, but he wrote down. He had a manuscript.
Got the draft. Yep. Dude, do you remember the reveal video? He took out reams of paper. Yeah. He was like, oh wait, and then another.
And I wrote another one.
And he went like 5 or 6 deep. It was crazy, dude. It was inside 10 months. It wasn't even a year, dude. It was 10 months, if I remember right.
Yeah, I've listened to 2 of them, and they're not bad. One of them's in one of our favorite characters, who is a world jumper, and his name is Harold. He's also known as Wit. So you get to hear a story in his voice, which is awesome. Soon as I heard it, it was the first one of the secret projects me and the wife were listening to. And as soon as I heard it, I'm like, he's doing this as Hoyt. Like this is Hoyt's voice. Like, because I know it from listening to all of his books, especially the Stormlight Archives. Now, these are not short, weekend reads or listen to. I think the shortest book was 32 hours.
Dude, that's crazy. By comparison, the Dresden Files book that just came out a couple weeks ago was only 16 hours. Yeah, and that was like a 500-page book.
The first Dresden book's only like 8 hours.
Oh yeah, dude. Stormfront's 304 pages, if I remember right.
Yeah,
304.
And then
Way of the King will be traveling with me Friday morning. We already determined that, babe.
And that is the shortest book, by the way. Is Way of the King is the shortest book in the Stormlight Archives. But the big news is, we were talking about fan films, and like this was the author who had his stuff bought 8 different times by 8 different studios, and they told him his stuff was unshootable. Yeah, it's not a thin book, dude.
Way of the King a bit chunky.
Wait till you get to Oathbringer.
I think that's book 2 in this one, right?
That's book 3. Book 2 is Words of Radiance.
Yeah, this one clocks at 1,252 pages. Dude, it's longer than it.
Yeah, and that's the shortest one.
Damn! Maybe I won't take this with me in my backpack as I'm walking around. Maybe I'll leave this one home. Take one of them Star Wars books.
You could chalk it up to exercise, because it's like carrying a 50-pound ruck with you.
Dude, it's like a 50-pound weighted vest if I just carry it here.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, Pape's a super fan. Never mind. Here we go. 3 or 4 times he said he read it. True.
Yeah, I've listened to Way of Kings 3 times completely, and I've listened to snippets of it. I can't count how many times.
But get into the nitty gritty of this Brando Sando possibly saving the fantasy genre on streaming, because that's where I wanted you to take the topic.
I had a couple things I wanted to show first, because we were talking about fan films and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and pull up the Bridge 4 video there. And this is
no spoilers, babe. Don't spoil shit for me.
What a fan made of part of the Way of the Kings.
Right, I'm on full screen.
Before death.
Oh wait, never mind. they're obviously using some of those tools we were talking about. Clearly a little uncanny valley there. This kind of stuff is only going to get better.
Yeah.
Strength before weakness.
Love this. Shields in front of that, though.
There's a reason why there's no shield.
Journey before destination.
Dude, solid. Dude, that's I'm telling you. People got.
I got a second one too.
Yeah, run it.
So here's the second one. This was the first one I ever saw that someone did, and this is actually a scene from the book where they're fighting a chasm fiend. Go ahead and hit the second one there.
Or until you say it twice, apparently.
Now, this was before book 3 came out, this one. So that tells you how long ago this was.
That's what I mean. Like, and you just haven't confirmed that this has been out for a while. Like, when you go and watch some of these Star Wars ones that are out now, you can tell how far along these effects are. I mean, the Uncanny Valley has dropped off. You get better resolution, more color.
Yeah.
It's Prince Dave's. In battle mode. Oh, snap.
Now, Pate probably knows this exact scene if he's read this book 3 or 4 times.
No spoils. These kind of, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These kind of tools, as they become more sophisticated and more affordable, will enable guys like you to take books like the one you just wrote this year and put together sizzle reels, even at a minimum, of 2 or 3 of your best action scenes just to get some exposure on the project. That's something you couldn't afford to do 5 years ago. You couldn't pay an effects artist to render a 2-minute clip of one of your things. It would have cost you 10 grand. 20 grand. I don't know, it would cost a lot.
Now that Blender actually has a big backer that can export into Unreal Engine, this stuff could become a lot more common. And not including, there are mocap companies out there that that are selling, even giving away. Like I have a zip file here with, was it 15,000 different mocaps in it?
Oh shit. Mocap in terms of character models moving in different ways and doing things
that you can map map onto a skeleton inside of a character.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, again, as these tools become widespread like that, we're gonna see some crazy stuff that people have put together. Dude, I just watched like a 4-minute thing. I think it's called Legendary Stories is the channel, dude. They've got like 11 videos. They've only been around since December, but they're up to like 200,000 subs because they make Star Wars shorts. I just watched one called The Battle of Hoth, and it was just about no dialogue. It's about one of the it's an unnamed grunt on the ground as the AT-ATs make their initial push, and how he gets left behind after surviving the battle and being a badass. Like, it's not perfect. It's definitely not AAA quality. It's nothing you'd pay $15 to see in the theater, but it's proof of concept that stuff like this can work because it has. It can be 4K. You know what I mean? Like it has high resolution. Animations are smooth. When his mouth moves, when he's yelling, it doesn't look uncanny valley kind of fake. Like it's It's starting to get really good.
Yeah. You're welcome, by the way.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Pay anytime.
So I got these, and I was going to use them in a different format, but it kind of just played right into the hand that we were talking about. But to announce that the ninth studio now has signed and bought the rights to Brandon Sanderson's entire collection.
Yeah, not just Stormlight, the Cosmere, like the whole thing.
Yeah, and it is Apple TV. Apple TV is going to try once again. They've done it twice now to shoot the unshootable film. Now they're going to try to make the unshootable series and movie. So, of course, we have Way of the Kings. If you pull that up real quick, I got the book cover right here. Is the first book in the Stormlight Archives, which is his epic fantasy that will be 10 books, and it's broken into 5 book era stories. We've already finished the first 5, so the first 5 are done. We won't see him even start working on the second 5 till 2029. He's already said that.
So what exactly is Apple doing first? They're adapting this book series into a series, or they're doing this book into a movie?
This series will be made into a series, which I think it will play a lot better, especially with how much is in there and how much detail and in depth these characters are.
If it's 5 books of 1,200 pages, like you need multiple probably seasons to handle a book. This isn't like cutting down a 600-page Game of Thrones book into a season. Like this is going to be a complex undertaking.
And whoever they cast as Shallan in this, you have a task in front of you because a lot of her is in her head. So or talking to yourself as a different character. So there you have your work cut out for you. I'm just going to say whoever they cast for that, they're going to have the work cut out for them. Now
what? When is this supposed to get under? I just want to know, when is this supposed to get underway? How long is it going to be before we get a look at this project? The ink is still not even dry, right?
I'm saying at least 5 years.
Oh, okay. So we got to stretch.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 years because once the deal's done, then they got to bring in writers, which he's actually starting to write some of those.
And that's kind of the thing that I wanted to get your take on, because I think one of the things that I've seen in 47 different places is that Brando Sando is maintaining a ridiculous level of creative control.
As I would after you saw what happened to the Wheel of Time.
And Game of Thrones and The Witcher and Willow and 57 other things in the genre that people just get dunked on for, sure. But when you sign on the line and take the bag, sometimes you don't get creative control. But this is a guy who's gone one-on-one with like Audible on behalf of how other indie authors are treated with their pay rates. This is a guy that loves the craft, but he's not afraid to make the business not cold or inaccessible for other people. So it doesn't surprise me that he has enough respect for his own work to not only get the bag, but be like, dude, I already have more money than God anyway. If you're not going to fucking keep the vision the same, why would I want you to adapt this into garbage? Because I think he cited the failings of Wheel of Time, Rings of Power, and other things like that in being concerns of his and getting his things adapted. Pape says, anyone want to bet Sanderson finishes the second part of SA before? Dude, easy bet, dude. Dude, I'm getting GTA 6 before you're getting either of these things.
I bet Sanderson will start another series in the Cosmere of a whole nother planet series and finish
Winds of Winter.
Before Winds of Winter, or we see book 3 of the King Killer Chronicles.
That's Rothfuss, right? It's too many names.
Rothfuss. he just
said it. There he goes. Pape's living 10 seconds in the future. He knew.
Yep. Well, they've heard me complain enough about Rothfuss, so I will just move on.
Because it's synonymous with the Game of Thrones complaint, is that these guys they spent too far. They've been away from the project too long. I get it, dude. That's happened to me a bunch of times where I'll get 65, 70, 80% my way through draft 1 of something. I get caught up in a video game. I get caught up watching a show or outline something else. And then when you get back to it, you realize there was like 30% of all that world building was just on a back burner in your brain, but you were constantly using it while you were working. And once you've been away from it, it's just gone. The love affair you had with that concept it's in the wind. It's out. You know, these
So
guys
then-
have been out for 15 years now.
Yeah. So the next one that they announced though is the Mistborn movie. Go ahead and pull Mistborn up. This is what
problem solved,
everyone
man.
tells you if you want to jump into the Cosmere, and this is the jump in point. Is Mistborn. It was Mistborn that got him the job to finish Wheel of Time for Jordan after he passed away.
Well, I guess this solves my problem of having both the audio book and 3 copies of the paperback that I've never finished. I think I have one behind me. Yeah, right there. You guys can't see it, but it's right there on the desk.
So,
and it's not bad, guys. That's not an indictment of the series. It's an indictment of my attention span failing me again.
So this one, Mistborn, already has 2 errors done. You have the first error, which is a 3-book series called the Final Empire series.
Final Empire, yep.
Then you jump into the Iron Law 4-book of the second era, where you were with Watts and Wayne, which it goes a little bit more Western with that one.
That's what I like about the Cosmere, though, is that it incorporates and it has the kind of global view that we wish the MCU had for multiple phases, or that we wish Star Wars had in the sequel trilogy. Is this dude put together all these book series in different parts and then told everybody 2 years ago they're all on the same timeline? You know what I mean? Like it's an incredible effort that he put into getting these things not only written, but just the mental capacity to have it all be structured in that way.
Yeah, and
nobody else does that.
So the first error of the Stormlight Archives takes place in between and starting with the second error of Mistborn.
Well, that's what I mean. It's literally like it's like a web. Like there's literally a braided timeline of all of these things, and it's not just like this one was 100 to 200 AD, this one was 200 to 300, and like
yeah, and they're different planets completely,
right?
And they have tons. He has tons of different planets. Like as you get deeper into the Stormlight Archives, you find out about more planets that they have.
Oh, spoilers there, Slick. Hold on, I'm gonna have this done by like Saturday. All right, hold on. Like
you better.
No shot.
To it.
No shot, dude. We've seen how I treated Mistborn, and I could fit like 4 Mistborns on this. You know what I mean?
Let Miss Wolf drive, and you just sit there and read.
She will be. She usually handles the drive down, so we'll see what happens. I was thinking of sitting in the back and playing some Switch 2 with Winter Wolf Pup.
How about you read him The Way of the King?
Well, because he's like 10.
So
and he really doesn't need to see anybody decapitated in a book. That's why.
I don't think anyone gets decapitated.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. So no, I make no promises. But speaking of fantasy, though, and we were talking about budgets earlier, and this is going to have to cost Apple TV about $4 billion in production cost alone, right? Everything I've read in Mistborn is magic heavy. They start burning tin and all that other shit like this. It won't be cheap. Do you think they've got cash? Like they've got stupid money at Apple.
Yeah.
But do they have enough to do the show the right way?
Well, I don't know. They haven't announced if they're doing it live action or if they're going to be doing it.
Oh, I put books down all the time, dude. Yeah, dude. I started the Dresden Files first book like 6 times before I finished it, and it's my favorite series. I'm talking about that all the time. You know that. 6 times. It was on my dresser for like 2 years in various stages of chapter 2. Anyway, you were saying, King, sorry.
Yeah, so they haven't really announced if they're going live action or animated.
Okay.
Knowing Mistborn, it will be hard to do live action because there's certain things that happen in this that would work better in an animated series, but you'd have to do at least one, like when he's teaching Vin about burning metals. And if you don't know, the magic system is about, heavy metal poisoning, and you use it into magic powers. Like you swallow metal and you have magic powers. And it's called burning it. So when you burn a certain 2 metals, you see these blue arrows towards like metal. And like to how would you depict that? Because if I'm standing next to you, I don't see them when you burn it. So to get the camera right, I think
POV overlay. We can do stuff like that.
Yeah, but
there's ways to SFX that.
Most POV shots are really bad sometimes.
True. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I think the only one that ever worked for me personally is Predator Heat Vision. You know what I mean? Like that's it. And we get the reverse of that now. We get the, what's it called when it's not POV, but the camera's up close on someone's face, like when RDJ's in the Iron Man suit. Like there's a name for that kind of shot.
Yeah.
Too.
Where like they're in like it like have a black box, and they have like
right, or like Fallout
displays over his face.
Right, when Maximus is in the other power armor, same
yeah.
the Iron suit, same shit. Like, so that's I get what you're saying, dude. If you and I are standing in a room and only you can see the blue arrows going over here, you could only ever show it from my POV, because if you show it from over the camera of the other guy, the implication is that he can also see that stuff in the world too.
Yeah.
Unless you make it a point of dead ass saying, I wonder if this guy can see the blue arrows. And the other guy's like, what blue arrows? I mean, maybe somebody a better writer than I might be able to sort that. But I think the animated format might be better suited, but they have to know up front that you sacrifice a giant portion of viewers if you go animated. There are just some people out there that aren't down for the format. They don't like it. They don't like cartoons. They don't necessarily get the difference between kids' cartoons and stuff written, aged up appropriately for the genre. You're leaving a lot of money on the table in terms of interest. Yeah. If you go animated, which is a shame, because I think it could do well in that format.
I do see that Way of the Kings would be have a live action easy type thing with a lot of CGI for especially the shards and stuff like that. So
definitely, because at the end of the day, like, I think that the tools that they use to do those kind of effects are fairly commonplace. Like, everybody's got a character that can fly and stuff now. It's like all of those scenes where it's Tin that makes them fly, right? Is that the
no
10 for the flight stuff?
10 is eyesight.
Oh, true. There's one they used to fly.
They don't fly. They don't.
They push. They
push.
It's essentially flight. It's a super jump. It's somebody 8 stories in the air that doesn't die on landing. They're flying, dude. You can split the hair how you want it.
When you burn iron and you burn steel, you can either push stuff towards you or pull stuff towards you. And the thing that you're pushing off has to be heavier than yourself, or it.
Because the physics apply.
Yeah.
Right. My point is lots of shows have people moving through the air. So they can do that. And there's not a lot of, that I've read in the first half of Mistborn anyway, not a lot of fireball slinging, Dresden Files, Fuego shit.
No, not that. It's not that type of magic.
That's what I mean. So, maybe it wouldn't be as expensive live action as I would think it would be. And because it doesn't necessarily need a fantastical setting like Rings of Power, maybe something like this, and, if there's any financial sense at all to these people running the show, maybe they don't need to spend $60 million an episode or whatever Acolyte was. I think it was like 35, 40. Like, they did House of the Dragon for 40 an episode. You could make Mistborn work on 40 an episode, dude.
The one 100%. Effect I would love to see is them do the Atrium effect when you burn Atrium. Atrium, one of the god metals.
I don't think I got that far. I don't think they were. I think he had mentioned those, that they exist, but I don't think she has any. Vin hadn't encountered that yet where I'm at. But that's what I mean. I think you could probably sell me a version of this show for $30 million an episode. That's basically about, because the whole point of the book, it's a heist. They tell her it's a heist. I think there's a little subterfuge going on there.
Yeah,
it's a start a rebellion kind of thing.
It's a mixture of a heist and My Fair Lady.
Right. So I think they could pull that off. It doesn't need to be overblown. And I think that Apple is probably the best suited for this kind of, besides HBO. I think Max is Max. I think I trust them to take a poke at anything. But I like what Apple's done with other shows. I love Murderbot. That was my nominee for best sci-fi of the year.
That was one of the book they said was unshootable.
Murderbot?
Yeah.
How? It's a robot on a space mission with 6 other scientists. How is that unshootable?
I don't know.
It has a lot of internal monologue. Guess what? Voiceover, bitches. We've been doing that for a while. I don't get it. How's that unshootable? Watch the show and tell me if it was unshootable, dude. It was pretty good.
I'm just saying that's one of the ones that Apple was told that was unshootable. They bought it and then shot it.
And did it. Yeah. So if this is in that same kind of category, I think they'll be all right.
That's why they said that Apple is trying to shoot the unshootable again.
Need to watch Foundation, see how well Apple handles properties. I've seen the title for Foundation. I haven't watched any. Are you saying, Pape, that they've handled it not well, or that they've handled it well?
I did like how they did. Was it For Mankind? That was pretty good.
That was the alt take on the space race, right? Is that what that
Yeah,
was?
where the Russians got to the moon first, and then
I heard
how
good stuff
we
about that. I didn't watch it, but I heard
how
good
we
stuff.
changed our space program. And
Yeah, I heard good stuff. Apple also had a crack at that. Oh, they did well. Okay, so that's what I mean. They Apple took a crack at that other one. Was it 3-body problem? I think that was also an Apple thing. There was like another joint.
no, I think that was
UN.
Netflix.
Was that Buttflix? Oh, I think it was Buttflix. That's right.
Yeah,
Never mind. Strike it off the list. Yeah, I think maybe they'd be all right. We would spend a little bit more time browsing things like Apple TV and MGM. Not that I don't think MGM Plus would ever have the kind of bankroll to put up a Way of the King, Name of the Wind. What was the other Lightbringer? I was also thinking like in terms of like modest budgets that you could do a lot with. Have you ever read any Abercrombie stuff? The Blade Itself trilogy? Oh yeah, you have because you hate the narrator.
I hate
That's
the
one.
narrator. He's way too nasally, and I just can't get through the first couple chapters. And I always give a book a couple chapters, and if I can't get through it, it's
have you read the book? Wait, if you watch wait a minute now. If you watch the Dynasty, the past documentary, you can see me. Wait a second, hold up. We're gonna have to freeze frame Warden Prime. We'll blur his face out though. You have to let us know where you may be. Have you read the book though, King? Have you read The Blade Itself?
No.
I'm going to send you.
Reading takes me way too long.
I'm still going to send you one because you need to read it because it's grimdark. It's definitely not for everybody, but it's all character study crap and how miserable the world can be without a boatload of special effects. Like magic is very isolated when it comes up, and then it does one grand thing, and then it disappears for a while, and people have to actually solve problems and manipulate and maneuver and get things done without magic being like the silver bullet to everything that goes wrong.
It sounds like The Lies of Lockmore, the Gentleman Bastard series.
It's a little bit like that. I could say it's definitely more grim than that. Like there's one hero and he's kind of a piece of shit also in a couple of places. It's very Game of Thronesian. Like you want to root for a couple of people a couple of the time, but then they reveal a little bit more and you're like, oh fuck, oh Logan Nine Fingers is still the best, but Jazal kind of a dick, Baez kind of a dick, the girl kind of a nutbag, but it's fantasy done right. It's got each book tells its own story. It could be compartmentalized into 10 interesting episodes, and then there's a through line through the set of 3. And a lot like the Cosmere, Abercrombie has, I think he's up to like 3 trilogies now that all take place in the same world, but they tell stories from different kingdoms within the world and how they interact.
Yeah,
I think so.
I've seen a couple of them. I've seen a couple of them on Audible.
Yeah. I audibly heard whatever you just knocked over.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's okay. It's just a broken bottle. Episode 3, Bar New Orleans. All right, dude. There we go. We should have sent Pape a Winter Wolfson t-shirt ahead of the documentary. That'd have been dope.
As we knew that we were going to be doing this when.
I don't know. I've had a Winter Wolfson. I've had the prototype Winter Wolfson t-shirt for like 7 years, dude. Before there was even a channel, I had that. Someone's getting a new phone. Yeah, probably not.
No,
probably not. We're just gonna brush it off, check for cracks, call it a day.
Call it a day. But, that's why you get the Autobox.
That's what I'm saying. That was in 2001. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I did not have the channel at 2001. YouTube didn't have the channel in 2001 at all. I don't think YouTube was a thing in 01. I think it was like an 04 situation.
That was when they won their. Was that when they won? Yeah, that's when they won their first one. Was February 2001. It was the 2000 season.
Yep.
Yeah, they beat the Rams.
The Rams, greatest show on turf.
Last second field goal, Vinatieri.
Greatest of all time. Facts. Yeah, dude, first. You're damn right. First. Hells yeah. See what happens this weekend though. Not really. I haven't followed in a long time, but I'll be excited to listen to it as we're either waiting in line at the competition or in between events, things like that. Yeah,
y'all need to be thanking Tennessee for letting Vrabel go.
Yeah. And they need to be kicking themselves in that ass, but that's about it. I'll say this just to wrap up the Brandon Sanderson thing. I think that it only takes one creator like that to demonstrate how things can actually be successful if the suits just stay the fuck out of the way. Hey, Ronan.
Hey, yep.
Hells yeah. Ronan, welcome. Yeah, if the suits stay out of the way and the guy that wrote the book, if the guy that wrote the source, green lights everything you do or 90% of what you do, and the key part is budgetary constraint, there's no reason fantasy can't be as profitable as horror by a long shot. Like, not wrong expression. There's no reason it can't. You know what I mean? There's built-in fan bases for every series you just named.
So I didn't see where it could be profitable, but not like the ROI on horror is crazy. It won't have the same ROI. So horror's here, but fantasy could be here if they just manage budget. It would be managing budget. It's just cost of location and to shoot. It costs money.
Budget. So you got to manage that. You have to creatively think of ways to make that not a problem. There's got to be ways to do that. Ronan asks, what would be y'all's favorite Brando book for a TV movie other than Mistborn? This is a King Z question because I am still, I'm aware of Brandon Sanderson. Love the guy. Watch his lectures all the time. He's a great teacher, but I'll let King have a pick. If you can't pick any one of those.
I think.
Wait. In terms of realistically being done.
Realistically.
My favorite thing.
Done. Yeah. I would go to one of the secret projects that me and the wife really enjoy, and I would go with Tess. I think Tess could be realistically done with them being on a boat and everything. Warbreaker would also be another fun one to do.
That's the only Sanderson book I think that I've completed thus far because I was told it was a standalone. I don't know if it still is or not. That's the one that was the one with the prismatic magic system with the colors, right? The colors and
you build your memory.
Yes, yeah. You can sell colors and then you don't have it for the rest of your life, kind of thing.
Then you know who Hoyt is because Hoyt's in Warbringer.
I read that like 10 years ago. I honestly don't remember. I'd reread it again, but that would have been my pick. Warbreaker is my favorite. Oh, there we go. Oh, dude, you're in good company then, because if the King's vouching for it, the King knows.
That one would be fun. It would be fun. Yumi would be fun. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I still need to listen. I still need to listen to was it Sunlight Man or something like that, which is also set in Roshar. So
is that part of the YA series? That's not part of Steelheart, right?
No, not part of Steelheart. Steelheart, I could see as an animated series. I think Steelheart would be a good animated series if you do it like what's that Invincible? One on Amazon? Invincible. Yeah, that's it. Sunlit Man. Yeah, Invincible. If it's done like Invincible, I think they could pull off the Steelheart YA series.
I could see that too, because I think I had a demo for Steelheart. I think I read like the first chapter. Isn't there like a bank robbery up front? The kid witnesses a superpowered human just absolutely obliterate humans to like rob shit. I think that was the beginning of Steelheart, if I remember. It just seemed interesting. Like definitely YA stuff. Papes could also be Edge Dancer.
Edge Dancer, I could see that, but Edge Dancer is more of a short story where it leads into a character who has a bigger role in book 5 of the Stormlight Archives. Edge Dancer is part of the Stormlight Archives. It's one of the shorter. There's a lot of short stories that are in there as well.
I read Edge Dancer, but in my head, I was reading Edge Runner, like that cyberpunk anime that's on Netflix, Cyberpunk Edge Runner. I was like, wait, that's the same thing? That's not the same thing.
But
wrong series.
What might be fun is you do Tales of the Cosmere, and you do it as you follow Hoyt as he world jumps.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
You also bring his Conjurer with him. The Conjurer that's in Tess, them two jump together. I think that would be a lot of fun.
True. You can read out Ronan since this is all you guys. This is your topic right here, dude. Read them out.
I thought it would be cool to see that. Sorry, it's late. Thought it would be cool to see that with Harold. I forgot which one of the guys that is. Yeah, Hoyt. Yeah, Hoyt, I think is awesome. He's one of my favorites.
Right, it's not 1,000 pages. This dude is a bit verbose. He likes to go yard on his stories. I'll give him that. But again, King, you're always talking all the time about how one of the things that you're trying to do, you're trying to spend particular attention to in your own work is going back and making sure that each character has a unique voice
Yes.
It doesn't just sound like you writing everybody, considering they're all very diverse. You have men, you have women, old soldiers, young female thieves and rogues. Like, you've got a variety of people in your book. Sanderson, from what I've read, manages to capture that very thing, and that he can have a cast of, how many people are in the dude's heist are in Mistborn? Like eight people in that group.
Main characters, you have Kaladin,
Vin.
Then you have Ham, Breeze.
Dude, there's at least 6. I'll just say there's 6, right? And they all do have a unique sound to them when they go. Like, you get the whole, you get how it's Kaladin, right? I was about to say Kelsier. That's the other one.
Yeah, Kelsier's Stormlight. Right. It's Kaladin.
Kaladin has a certain air about how he speaks to people. Like, he's convinced he's right. He's convinced he's like the smartest guy in the room, that he's a bit of a badass. And she very much isn't that. She's very much a survivor. She's a kid from the streets. So how she looks at things and how she presents in different situations is super unique.
Yeah. And you have Marsh, which is Kelsier's brother.
Kelsier is Mistborn.
Yeah, Kelsier is Mistborn, yeah.
What I said? What did I say? Kaladin? I don't know.
Yeah, Kaladin's Way of Kings.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah, Kelsier is Vin's teacher in Mistborn, right? Am I getting all that right?
Yeah, he's the leader of the
heist. The heist crew. The crew.
Yeah, the crew.
True. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully it doesn't take 5 years. Like I said, I'd like to get more fantasy on TV and less. The farther away I get from superhero shit, feels exactly the same way I feel about gaming. The farther I got away from FPS games for a while, the better I felt about gaming. You know what I mean? Getting into like JRPGs and back into RTS kind of games has done wonders for my attitude, for my blood pressure, for my energy level. The further I get away from the MCU and the DCU into other genres, we're going to be a lot better off. We've had more fun on the channel doing those shows that aren't those things, like Percy Jackson and Penguin's like superhero adjacent, but it's a crime drama. Those are just better. It's better for us to do right now.
So you want a book recommendation? This is a series I love. I love the author, and it's the Rhaenyra Revelation. It's where you start, and then you go and read the Rhaenyra Chronicles, and then you go back to the first Empire, read the Age of series, the Age of Myth, the Age of Swords, the Age of War.
I've seen that. I've seen that on shelves.
And the writer's Michael J. Sullivan. I love his work. I love his conversations he has between people. Because the first one, I started the Rhaenyra series, and I stopped it for some reason. I forgot why I stopped it. I think I wasn't really paying attention to it. I listened to a lot of audiobooks. A lot of these books are audio for me. So, but then I started listening to the Age of Myth because I got it for free. And there's this conversation between the two main characters at the beginning. And I'm like, I'm in. I'm hooked. If this is how it's going to be, I'm hooked. And then I found out it was Michael J. Sullivan, and he wrote the Rhaenyra Revelation. So I went back and listened to that. And now how they did those books, it's 3 books, but it's 2 books in each of those. So it's actually 6 books. That's and how this man writes is crazy, because he'll write all 6 books first. That way he doesn't have to worry about retconning and making sure everything's right. If he writes something in book 5 that countered something in book 1, he has book 1 right there that he can go back and change something.
Continuity is iron. Yeah.
Yeah. And he gave up writing when he wrote the Rhaenyra Revelations. He wrote that to read to his kids at night. And that's when
solid dad move.
And it kind of turned into what he became. I think he was an insurance salesman when he wrote these, and they actually sold. And now he is the most successful independent published
indie pub
author of all time.
No shit. I didn't realize that he had climbed that level. Good solid recommendation.
If you go on his website, you could talk to him. Me and him had a few email conversations back and forth. If he comes to your town to do a book signing and he knows you're there, he'll email you, let you know, hey, let's go grab a beer and stuff.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah. Good guy. Good guy. Yeah. But yeah, that's my recommendations. The Rhaenyra Revelations. The first book is, it got me hooked, but the rest of the series is all connected.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, solid dad move like Papa Tolkien with his in-world stories he tells kids, for sure. Dude, that's a good one. I'd give him the obvious recommendation would maybe the Files, man. I'd give him the Dresden Files to read. Like if you want something a little bit more immediate, something first person with some pretty funny internal monologue, urban fantasy. It's a big genre with a lot of crap in it, but I think Dresden Files is still king, even though it's been around like 25 years. If you're into elaborate world building that just keeps building upon itself and isn't a house of cards because the foundation is really strong, the Files is a good pick. You know, if you want to see a decent blend of different mythologies from all over the world that, you know, covers from like the Far East to South America to Arthurian stuff, all good stuff there. It's basically the prototypical urban fantasy series. A lot of people will tell you to start with the third book, Grave Peril. I would tell you to suck it up and take it from the beginning. Stormfront is it. He's a private detective that happens to be a wizard. So you get a bunch of noir detective story tropes early on. Those kind of fall off later in the series. But it's a good first book that lets you know who all your main characters are literally throughout. I'm on book 21, dude. Like the 21st book, I think it was, just came out a couple of weeks ago. So you can actually watch characters grow up over time. Solid. I would absolutely recommend that. I would recommend you stay as far away from the crappy TV series that was on the Sci-Fi Channel like 20 years ago. Do not bother. It's nothing.
It is
like
on
it.
Netflix.
Garbage.
You can't, not Netflix, but Amazon. You can go watch it. I think
Don't.
it's part of Prime if you have Prime.
Don't. It's terrible. It is terrible. Pro Wizard Detective 21 book, dude. Hell yeah. It's like 18 mainline books and a few anthologies.
Yes.
Jim Butcher is the author's name. If you want to get a feel for him, he's got a couple of convention appearances that you can see on YouTube. Just kind of get a feel for what he's about. But dude's been writing this book since he was in college, and this is his jam. He's got a couple of other series too. Cinder Spires, I think, is one of them.
The Argonauts.
The Aeronauts Windlass is the other one. But the Dresden Files is that it's modern. You know what I mean?
Which one is the mix of the Lost Legion and Pokemon?
I think that's the Aeronaut Windlass. I think that's that one. I've only read like the first 2 chapters of each one because the Files is such a better vibe for me because he is self-deprecating. There is a little bit of power creep. I mean, you're on book like 4 or 5 and you've already seen some of that coming your way. You know, as he kind of ages up in world. But like that's the fun part is as his power creep happens, everything else around him gets worse. Like his life gets worse. The challenges become harder. So it's but it's interesting to see a character start at age like 25, and by the time this book is around, he's 40. You know what I mean? Like it's good shit. Pape says, have we read Raymond Feist the Magician? I have not read The Magician, but it's long been on my recommended list.
Yeah. I've been dipping my toes a little deeper into the progressive fantasy as well as the lit RPG fantasy to see if they have some good stories. I think a lot of them are written with like a juvenile mind, especially the land, especially in the later ones. It is pretty juvenile, but the guy is a kid. So, I mean, who got pulled into this world? One I just listened to is the Elderland, which is a kingdom building progressive RPG. And the difference between a progressive RPG and a lit RPG, which I found out, is that they split them, is that if you have progression like a RPG game, but it's part of your world, like it's just your world, you're not playing a video game.
Oh,
it's progressive
okay. So
RPG.
not the character's progression, the world building progression.
Or like yours too. Like you can see like, oh, I'm level 3. I have 3 skill points. That's just part of their world. That's a progression RPG. If it's a video game, if it's a video game, like was that Dungeon Crawl?
I was just going to mention that as another recommendation.
Ascend Online. Those are lit
and
RPGs.
There's Ronan mentioning that. Dungeon Crawler Carl is really good. Dude, that series has gotten out of control though. That guy's on like book 6, I think, and I think he's got a spin-off or something.
And he has a movie deal.
And he's got a movie deal. But yeah, the first 2 books anyway are really good because he's still figuring shit out at the end of like the first book. Like the end of the first book is just him moving down a couple of floors. Like it's not like he gets any of this big resolution to like the world ending problem that he woke up into one day, you know. Wild Shop, if y'all like books, dude,
we love
come to the right place, guy.
We love Project Hail Mary.
Facts. Yep. Can't wait. Looking forward to it.
Yes, the movie comes out in March, and that's only a month away. So,
yeah, dude, I picked that book up and read it in a weekend because I could not put it down. As soon as I got back into reading it, like as soon as I picked it up and started reading it, I realized that the vibe was the same as The Martian, which I was already in for, and I was like, all right, it's feeling a little similar. And then like right around like chapter 3, it's like, and it goes off and it does its own completely unique story. And I can't wait to see that on big screen. I don't like to get too hyped for movies because a bunch of them disappoint us around here. I got a good feeling about this one, King.
Yeah, and they had a great actor in there with what's his name?
Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling, yeah. I think he's going to be a great Grace. But I listened to the audiobook, and what got me in at first is, of course, I was skeptical. Skeptical. That's the word I'm looking for.
I know words.
Take it. So I was that going into it, but it had Ray Porter as the voice.
Solid. Yep.
And Ray Porter, he does the voice for this SEAL team book series I listened to called something of Valor.
Metal, Time, Mission.
I think it's War of Valor or something like that. But I liked it because that's a spinoff of another series I listened to, which is the Tier 1 series and then the Ember series.
You've mentioned that before.
And I enjoy it. I mean, they're not the best written thing out there, but I enjoy the series. I love Ray Porter. He does a good voice. So hearing Ray Porter's voice come with Project Hail Mary, it got me into the story quicker than it normally would if it was like some Joe Blow off the street or these new AI voices they're using.
Dude, that's something that we need to talk about. That it's maybe next week. We'll throw that on the topic list. That shit needs to go away like yesterday, man. I work with a bunch of people that while they're working, they have those kind of like AI voiceover narrated short stories on in the background, and every one of them makes me want to blow my brains out.
Yes, they
I
are
don't understand.
So bad. Dude, no emphasis.
I can't listen to those voices in a 10-second skippable ad. It's beyond me how people are listening to full-on fictional pieces with no cadence, the emphasis in the wrong spots, pronunciation of basic words wrong. Like, dude, how is this an acceptable quality for you to listen to? Ronan asks, how do you think they will do the exposition? The Martian there is the built-in narrative of the daily video, the internal thoughts and feelings translates the movie very well.
I think they're doing the same thing. I think they're doing the same thing with the video messages of him keeping a personal log.
I think that's the easiest way, I think, to convey that kind of stuff. Is they can do voiceover of him typing on a tablet, or just even if he's keeping a journal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Or if he's doing the cam, like the camera in the face recording.
Because that's how they did it on The Martian when all of that was inner dialogue, anyways.
Right.
So
yes, I mean they've got a template they can follow literally for figuring out how the last man alive, like in a space station, can sort that stuff out, and then they can do however they want to make weirdo Martian sounds until the spoiler alert, until the alien learns how to communicate with them. They'll sort that out.
Well, it's in the trailer. They you can't really.
Didn't they just do the hand on the? They didn't have him talking though. They just had the hand.
They have.
The alien itself.
Yeah,
oh, that's right.
I met an alien.
Yeah, that's right.
Literally that line in the trailer.
I forgot. Spoiler alert, we're not alone.
Yeah.
Ronan says, makes sense. I agree. Ray Porter's the GOAT. Listen to the Bobaverse, simply. The Bobaverse.
Yeah, the Bobaverse. I've hinted at that. Was it We Are Legend, We Are Bob is the first book in that series.
What is it?
It's a military sci-fi.
Oh, okay. It's an odd kind of title for military sci-fi. You know, there's not enough word out like Delta or Sigma in the title. There we go.
Yeah. Ray Porter's, I think, would put in my top 5. Of course, I would have Michael Kramer in there. I would have to add in Nick Podell. I had my top 5 like all ironed out. Oh, yeah, I did. I just said Michael Kramer. I will not put his wife. I do not think she is good. I think her male voice is that mocking female voice they do for men. I don't like it, but it's her trying to be serious. She's not doing it in a mocking way. Just that's what it sounds like, and that's why I don't really like Kate Redding that much.
And definitely not in your top 5 is the narrator for the First Law trilogy. Clearly,
no, that guy's way too nasally.
Dude, I don't think I've ever mentioned before, like at length, because I've read the Files books paper copy, but I have listened to them at work a couple times. But I've mentioned that the voice actor there is James Marsters, who was Spike from Buffy 40,000 years ago. Amazing voice actor.
Yeah, great.
This guy hasn't done a Dresden Files book in like 5 years. Literally falls right back into the role. The inflection's there, the timing's there, the tone is there. And then this is a cast of characters that's like 12, 15 named characters deep that all still feel unique. And he hits all of them as well 5 years later, as these characters have been wounded, aged, grown, changed. The man's got some talent, 100%.
Yeah, Sir Gerald Reynolds would be another good one. And what's his name? I would put him as my top because when he's reading a book, I just freaking love it.
I think he said Kramer, Pate. I think he mentioned Kramer.
Yeah,
Kramer does Wheel of Time.
Yeah, Kramer's Wheel of Time and most of the Cosmere.
I saw another one there. I just wanted to get rolling right there. Any feelings or thoughts on Rothfuss's Day? We mentioned him a little while ago.
I love the books. I just don't think they'll ever be finished.
Yeah.
I think Name of the Wind and A Wise Man's Fear are 2 really great books that are connected. I just don't think we'll ever see a third one because Rothfuss is too much of his own butt or the real author died.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned that before. You had a little conspiracy theory action on that it might have been a ghost written situation and maybe that person is no longer with us, rest in peace style.
Yeah.
And he's just I now I've got social anxiety and I canceled my blog and I can't write on my blog and write the book and this and that. And like, do him and Martin eat at like the same deli? Like, are they just hanging out, comparing ways to disappoint
they're
people?
just hanging out. Yep.
A couple of fatties floating around a pool, like instead of writing their books. Like, guys, get back to work. You're pissing us all off. Like, seriously, There we go. But yeah, dude, a lot of good book series out there. A lot of good book. The Iron Druid series is another good one, but that gets a little weird down the stretch if you need a little bit more urban fantasy. That's got a lot of Celtic mythology, but it's definitely grittier, more adult than the Dresden Files. A little more mature rated. Yeah. For sure on the physical side of things instead of the violent side of things.
R.C. Bray is my number 1.
True. It's a curse, 2 of my favorites, and I curse my friends to read and touch all of them. He hasn't finished the series. Yeah, true. Oh, dude, it's the Rothfuss situation. Oh, it's a Winds of Winter sitch.
Yeah.
It's probably worse. It's probably a Dream of Spring sitch if you want to get technical, because you're not getting an ending to that trilogy, my friend. That's not happening.
And at least it's George who's writing it.
See, who we're talking about? He just said some faith since he released the novella in the same world in 23. Is he talking about Rothfuss or is he talking about?
That's Rothfuss. That's Rothfuss. Okay. Rothfuss released a novella in 2023, his 3rd novella since the 2nd book dropped.
George has done the same damn thing. Like he's released all that garbage for House of the Dragon, all that garbage for the new show that's out now, Night of the Seven Kingdom. He's talking about he's now moved to the top of the priority list the other stories that are in his head for that book, or for follow-up books, because the show is successful. It had like 8 million views in the first 3 days on HBO.
Which I think that is a sub story in his whole like lineage book that he wrote.
That's what, but it's anything to not finish Winds of Winter. It's literally anything but that.
Not finish this. Is it the Song of Fire and Ice?
A Song of Fire and Ice is the mainline series. That's what the whole thing is called. Winds of Winter is next, and everybody thinks that like that's the send off. It's not. That's the penultimate book. A Dream of Spring is the end cap. Yeah, now, like this dude's 80 years old and is days away, God forbid, from a massive fucking coronary. Like if you think he's got another 1,200 page manuscript in him, if Winds of Winter came out tomorrow, you really think that dude's sitting down to fire off Dream of Spring Draft 1 the next day? No.
I have one way that he could do it. One way.
If he hires us.
No, if he writes every chapter in the point of view of Hodor.
I mean, even still, it'd be you know how tediously boring it would be to copy paste
Yeah.
Hodor. 300 words a page for 900 pages. Dude, you'd self-delete in fucking 2 seconds. I don't even like copy pasting multiple Google Docs into one Google Doc. I couldn't imagine copy pasting the word over.
What you do is get a mechanical keyboard like I have, and then you just hold it down.
Hold what down? The R?
No, hold down the control V. Just hold it down.
Oh, it just does it easy.
Yeah.
Dude, his lazy ass ain't doing that either. He's riding, he's driving his toy trains, he's floating in the pool and doing cannonballs and shit.
He's writing op-eds on the New York Jets.
Right, dude. He's consulting in Elden Ring. I'm like, dude, why are you doing this shit? You know. But just speaking of George, I don't want to keep us too late. We can wrap up with this. I just saw him say, I think it was in a Screen Rant article of all places, so now even they're dunking on him, where he said, as I continue working on Winds of Winter, I imagine a couple of characters would likely have darker, more realistic ends in my version. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What do you mean your version? Because I was told the show was your version. You gave him the notes. This is what it's going to be. So by you saying in your version, you're now tacitly admitting that the ending of the show sucked. Like
So
you're telling me that.
what he said this time and at the end of the other one, that his ending is different than what they did in the show. And when he talked to the creators of the show, he gave them bullet points of things that they have to hit, but he didn't tell them exactly how it ended. They came up with their own ending.
See, then what that all that does really is circle back to the whole. It's what I said a little while ago about like when I get caught up in my own head and abandon projects temporarily. Like if I go back to Jason Dark at some point, right? It's going to take me a month's worth of rereading 200 pages of notes, the 15-page outline, the 25, 28 chapters that I already did.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Reintegrate into that world. Not just one guy with one book, right? This dude needs to go back and read the last 2 books, or have interns read the 2 books, let them know where 150 named characters are in a world that spans how many continents? 3? You know what I mean? How many kingdoms? 7?
I mean, come on. I'm working on my first book, and how many named characters that are in that one?
Yeah, but it's your first book that like you can literally only have to review the 50 chapters that you wrote. You
53.
know, this dude's 53. Kudos. This dude's got to literally go back and sort out the fine details of like where he left all these 150 characters in 150 different points of interest on the map. In your manuscript, you've got a few teams in like 3 places that are in a group. You know, he's up shit's creek. The reason he hasn't finished is because he knew 10 years ago, being out of the game for 2 years, he was boned. He was like, I'm not reading this shit again. This last book was terrible. Like nobody liked Feast for Crows. Nobody I've ever talked to was like Feast for Crows. It was too slow coming off the book before that. The book before that was the action book. Yeah. You know? So I think that's guys, you're not getting anything from either of those 2 authors. Brandon Sanderson is the way. You're gonna get plenty of him. But dude, we've been on like 2 hours. Why don't we get the hell out of here and figure out how we're gonna cover Fallout?
Everybody, welcome.
We need 2 more minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You want 2 hours, you're gonna go 2 minutes. But by the time we housekeep and everything, we can do that. So coming up next for us, just so we can just put it on the record and get them 2 minutes. We will be recording the. You're welcome, Rona. Welcome. If you haven't, consider subbing. We're here every Wednesday night at 9. This wasn't random. We do entertainment topics of the week, from streaming to TV, movies, gaming, books, as you found. And thank you for bringing up a couple of banger suggestions. Appreciate you. Oh, thank you. We appreciate that. We've actually recently, we're going to be wrapping up the Fallout Season 2 coverage. If you're a fan of the series, if you're a fan of the games, you can check in. If you're a fan of the game, we'd love to hear from you, because we're always trying to compare how they handle adaptations of things. The channel policy is adaptations are difficult, but we think Fallout's doing a pretty bang-up job. And we should hopefully have that recorded, hopefully tomorrow, and available for you guys sometime probably over the weekend, I would say. Maybe Monday. Monday?
Yeah, I think
usually Monday is when you put it out, I think.
Yeah, about Monday. Also, we've just got done reviewing the latest installment of Marvel's Spotlight with the Wonder Man series that dropped on the 27th. That video should be dropping this weekend. So have your eyes open for that. So hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you don't miss when we drop the Wonder Man. And then, if you want to, you can join our membership program. It's only $2.
Easy on the
you
tough sell. Go easy. Not yet, King. Not yet.
Yeah, but we do have a cool gift for the first 10, and we only have 5 people become members so far. So
that's true. But we gotta have Warden Prime get his first, so you can take pictures and post them on the community thread to prove that they're real.
That.
It's all right. It happens. Sometimes it just be like that. Yeah, dude, the Wonder Man thing. I can't wait to see. I think we're gonna get some flack on that one when it comes out. I think we're gonna catch some flack from the former side of the aisle that I think subscribed to the channel early on. But anyways, we love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Ronan. $2, not too bad. Not lie. Exactly. But I like to balance that shit. Warden Prime, Pay, thank you for being here. Glad you're feeling better, dude. Oh, then you might like the review. You may like the review. All right, we got to get out of here. I'm hungry, and Kingsy's going to fall asleep, guys. We'll see you next week. Stay tuned for everything else we do. We love you. Good night.
Bye, people.